Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing
Can
great.
anybody hear me? All right. Hello, George.
Good afternoon.
All right, guys, I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love chaos. And what I mean by that is managed chaos. Everybody write that down. Managed chaos. When we come to the office and the phone isn't going crazy and the texts aren't flying and the emails aren't just jumping off the books and everything is calm, I don't have any money. If there's no somebody screaming about a closing on Friday, if some home inspection isn't going sideways, I'm broke. I want you to understand there's always cash in chaos. Now, it's managed chaos. If I have 10 listings, I got 2 sellers that are unhappy. And they're texting me, when are you going to hold it open? When are you going to do a broker open? I want a free meal. When are we going to do this? But if I don't have 10 listings, I don't have 2 people asking me for unreasonable things. So if I don't have chaos from active sellers, it means I don't have enough sellers, because 10% of all sellers are, and they're going to make my life miserable. But you can't have 10% of one. And pendings. During COVID, we had a good fortune. Almost every sale we had was cash. Cash, over full price, no appraisal, no home inspection. And the deals flew through because the buyers were so happy to finally get a home in their possession that they felt everyone else was jealous, and they didn't fall through. Well, we're back to a somewhat normal market. We do have some multiple bids, but if it's a normal house, we're getting an offer and it's close, we have to negotiate. And then they want a home inspection and we have to negotiate. And then the appraisers who are just tight, so afraid, they may not come in and we have to negotiate. And many of us are like, oh, I liked it better during COVID. I didn't have to do this. But those days are gone. We can't go backward in time. We have to learn how to manage the chaos. So I want you to understand this NAR stuff that's happening. Couldn't be happier. Babs with the glitter cleavage and essential oils, she's gone. When an agent was asked by a seller 2 months ago, how come I got to pay 6%? Well, I give half of it away. Oh, okay. And then they sign. In the future, what do I get for my 3% marketing? And we at Watson Powers have the answers. Why should I hire you and pay you 3% as opposed to them at 2%? And we know how to handle that. And then Babs with the glitter cleavage. So Babs, we want to buy a house. This says if I have to pay you 3% of $1 million home, I got to give you $30,000 of my money. What do I get for $30,000, Babs? Well, I've got a new oil called Abundance. Also, I'll put you in the MLS on the tickler, and every time a new listing comes on, you'll get a beep on your phone. And then you'll call me, and I'll get in an Uber. I'll drive to the house, and I've got a magic lockbox key, and I'll open the door for you. I need more than that, Babs. See, what I'm so excited about is that most of our competitors have not gone to work in a week. They woke up and they got on this Instagram. What's the latest with the NAR lawsuit? Oh my God, this is going to change everything. And then they have meetings, and every corporation's having a meeting. Here's how we have to do this. And I'm like, yeah, you keep doing that. While you're having meetings, my people are out making money. So are things going to have to change? Thank God, yes. Does it mean you're going to make less money? No, the opposite. Gordon and I and Sydney, we know ways for you to capitalize on this chaos. While everyone else is in bed, pulling the covers over their head, going, please make it go away, we get out of bed and attack. You're going to have to present to the buyer, here's why you want to work with me. Here's what we do for you. Here's our results. Here's our plan for you. And you're going to have to show why you're the best, which you are. But you're going to have to say it, because you can no longer be an Uber agent with a lockbox key and get paid. And yes, we're going to work ways where the seller can pay your fee. One of our great clients, Beth, she called me a month and a half ago. And you guys know, if you're in Watson Powers, you can call me, Gordon, or Sydney anytime. And I think she called me on a Monday morning. No, it was a Sunday. I'm going on a listing appointment, and the sellers told me he doesn't have to pay a buyer agent. Anybody else besides me hearing that? So she said, what do I tell him? So what are you thinking? And she went, well, I want to explain to him why he wants to consider. I'm like, don't. The man has already made up in his mind that he's not paying a buyer agent. Go out and get the listing. Now you have it. Make sure when you send him copies of their paperwork, closes a copy of your paperwork. As you know, you've elected not to participate and help pay the buyer agent fee. This may limit the number of buyers who are able to look at your home. We'll know in the next 7 days. And then in 7 days, when he's had no showings, you can throw in his face, you opted not to participate. Would you like to now? See, guys, it's just learn new behaviors. There's answers to all of this. But in this case, we've got the listing. Now we can modify it. Mr. Seller, if your roof is curling, do you put a new roof on to make it saleable? Of course. If your mailbox is falling over, do you put up a new mailbox and make it look pretty? Of course. So you can do things that will make your house more attractive. By offering to help participate in the buyer agent fee, you're making your house more attractive. There's cash and chaos, guys. See, we have to look at anything that's happening and say, how do I capitalize on this? Not, oh, I wish it was the same as yesterday. Not me. My partner, Gordon, and I, we have a fun relationship. He thinks I'm crazy. Whenever I go anywhere, I don't like to stay in the same place I've been. I rented this house. I rent houses and condos everywhere. One time I was traveling and Gordon says, where are you staying tonight? I go, Gordon, oh my God. I got a 1965, some sort of RV like Willie Nelson used to live in for 2 nights. What do you mean? I'll send you a picture. Oh my God, it was so cool. It's 1965 RV. I mean, there's 2 twin beds. There's a microphone system to talk to the whole thing. I said, this is the greatest thing. He goes, why are you staying there? Because it's different, man. See, I embrace change because you can't stop it. The second you want everything to be the same is when you're out of business. A restaurant that serves the same food for 40 years is out of business. Who do they get? They got 80-year-old customers who come in at 4:30, who split a meal, drink water, and tip 10%, but it's their place. Kelly, you remember that Yorktown seafood restaurant that was up at the Yorktown Point way back when? Kelly and I used to work together in an office. There was a seafood restaurant right on the end of York Point. It was a gorgeous restaurant, gorgeous views, and the owners never changed the decor. They had all the swag lamps and the half-naked ladies holding the bowl of fruit and all that stuff. And every year, their income went down till they finally closed after 50 years in the business because they never changed, because they didn't want to change. Things are changing. I think we're going to be better for it. And there's always cash and chaos. So how do we capitalize on this? Number one, given the choice, attack. ATTACK. Rather than have meetings about what does this mean? I know what it means. It means I have to have on the buyer side some sort of plan to get a buyer to agree to work with me, sign a buyer agency, and pay me 3% if the seller doesn't participate. So what do I need to work with Sydney, Gordon, or Steve on so that my presentation to a buyer, they go, this is a good way to buy a house. I want to hire you. I'm going to have to get reviews. Why? Because buyers now know that they could possibly have to pay the fee of the buyer agent, so they aren't going to just work with anybody. They're going to want to see that I worked with Kelly Nichols. After working with 3 other agents, Kelly was the only one who knew the inventory and got my offer accepted. After 10 offers, it was so great to have somebody who knows how to do this. My wife and I have got our dream home. And then everyone will go, I got to work with Kelly Nichols. Well, Kelly, you charge 3%. Bob Smith only charges 1%. Yeah. Go work with Bob. Oh, ask Bob how many houses he sold to buyers in the last 3 months. Well, he hasn't sold any. So none of them had to pay their 1%. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you know the great thing about working with me, Kelly Nichols? You're actually going to have to pay me because you got a house. Guys, it's just scripts. It's confidence and competence. On the seller side, we have to change everything, but we've already done it. We have to have a marketing plan. So let's go to Andrea. Hello, Andrea.
Hello.
Where are you from so everybody can send you a wonderful referral that you deserve?
Say that again. I think I missed the beginning of it.
Where do you live so people can send you a wonderful referral that you deserve?
I live north of Boston in Beverly, Mass.
North of Boston. I went to UMass and Amherst. Way back when. So, Andrea, let me ask you a question. Do you have a marketing plan that you give to your sellers when they list the home with you?
Yes.
Do you have it there?
Where I am right now?
Sure. You have it on a computer?
Not really.
So what's the first thing on your marketing plan?
So the marketing plan consists of, I have a plan. I don't sell. I work with the agents here, but the plan basically is broken out and it just by section. So it's what we do to get the property red carpet ready. Once it goes on the market, what is it we do? So at different points below that, once it goes on, once it goes under contract, and then contract to close are the different components
So
that
you
make
got it. You got it. See, what you're telling me is you have an A to Z plan to help the seller go from today signing an agreement to getting a check. Yes?
Oh, always.
The question is, do your agents know how to sell it? Because we're no longer going to be selling a 6% commission. Well, why 6%? Well, I have to give half away. Oh, okay. Because that's what we all did, right, Andrea? It's like, oh, Mr. Seller, you're not paying a 6. I give half it away. Oh, okay. Now they're going to say, I'm paying somebody either a 2 or 3% commission. What are you going to do for my 2 or 3%? So, Andrea, your agents have to learn how to sell each item on that marketing plan.
Mhm.
Oh, and it's going to get more exciting. Can I tell you what it is?
Sure.
Because the seller is going to quickly distinguish that it's a us and them, seller and buyer. You're not working together anymore. They're going to demand that you do everything on that marketing plan. Is it possible there's a few things on the marketing plan that may be a little dated and your company doesn't always do?
No.
I love you. Everybody else, did you hear that? If you have something stupid on there that says prospect 3 hours a day talking to no less than 30 people every day to find you a buyer, you're about to lose a bunch of money because one of your sellers is going to say at the closing, I don't think I got treated fairly. I didn't get all my money. Could you prove to me for 45 days that you prospected 3 hours a day, 45 days straight, 30 people a day? Well, I didn't. Then I'm not paying your commission. Because we're going to be separate from the buyer agency fee, there's going to be a lot of accountability for what we do, guys. So unlike Andrea, most of you who have sent me marketing plans, you have things there that you may not be doing. And it's going to cost you money when the seller calls us on it in the future. Because they used to pay us 6 and we gave half away. Now it's going to be, this is what you're charged from your marketing agent, and they're going to demand that they have a plan like Andrea. And if you guys caught where Andrea works, I'd call up and politely ask her for a copy of hers, because hers sounds killer. Because some of you guys have things, I've read them, that you don't do anymore. And the seller's going to take money away from you at the closing when you don't have it. And I love this because we're addressing this now as professionals. Everybody agree? Your competition isn't. Your competition is going to be doing the job as if it didn't happen. And the seller's going to say specifically, what are you going to do to sell my house? Put up a sign. Everybody likes me. They like to show my listings. So let's kind of bring this full circle. Number one, things are going to change. Yahoo. Number two, whether you're on the listing side or the buying side, do we need to get better at displaying what we're going to do for services offered? Because the NAR lawsuit, that wonderful attorney who decided to make a bunch of money to make our lives miserable, we can't put the genie back in the bottle. If we don't do this, we're not going to get hired. Now, Andrea, I'm going to stay with you because it appears you're quite knowledgeable. How long have you been in real estate?
I got my license in 97.
Wow, good for you. That's exciting. So you've been doing it a little while. Nice. Andrea, let me ask you, buyers agents, what they have to do in the future is it totally different than what they did last week?
My answer would be no.
Well, I would agree with you, except they have to get hired now. See, last week, I could give you a buyer agency agreement and say, Mr. Seller, I'll do all these things for you. And as you can see, the seller will pay my fee. That may not be true in the future, right?
Well, here's the thing about that. Only if I agree to take what is posted in multiple listing, and that was not always the case.
As of July 14th, there'll be no posting.
No,
in
I
the multiple
understand
listing.
that, but what I'm saying is, I don't necessarily always take what a co-bro puts out. I have something with my client. Sometimes we can get it from that soon-to-be obsolete mechanism called multiple listing, but sometimes there could be a difference.
There could be. And you and I both agree. Sometimes I have a 3% on the co-bro from the buyer, and the seller is only offering 2%. So I have to say to the buyer, if you buy this property, you have to give me 1% because the seller is not paying full.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't get it. Sometimes we don't ask. But as of mid-July, theoretically, there'll be no co-broked offering.
Right.
So we're going to have to say to the buyer, you work with me, you have to give me 2.5% of $1 million purchase. You'll be required at closing to give me $25,000 for services rendered, because in many cases, the seller won't be paying it. And so therefore, I would defer with you to say that the buyer agent, when they sit down with the buyer, can no longer say, and the seller will pay the fee. If there's a difference, we can work it out. We're going to need to say, you may have a seller pay, but in all probability, you're going to have to write the check. And they're going to want to know what they're getting for their $25,000.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do that last week, but now we do. What do you offer to this buyer that makes them want to work with you and give you their $25,000? Because they're going to give it to somebody. So they're going to be selective who they give it to. And what does that mean? That means if you're a part-time agent, you're going to have a hard time getting hired. Because when I say to you, so how much availability do you have? Well, I'm available anytime after 3. I want to look at how's at 8. Oh, I can have somebody cover. No, I need to find a full-time agent that can give me the time I deserve. I think it's going to be outstanding. And where 90% of the money was made by 10% of the agents, I think it's going to be closer to 90% of the money is made by 7 agents. And I love it. Because anything that requires a higher skill set pays more. Everybody agree? And we don't want to be fearful. We have to attack. One of my favorite movies is a movie called Patton. If you're a team leader, you have to watch it. You have to be calm in chaos. People like Andrea or Andrea, whichever way you want to say it, Andrea, she has to be calm in this chaos because they're looking for that kind of leadership. She can't be panicked. So the reporter said to the General Patton, General, you never retreat. Why do you never retreat? He goes, because I don't want to pay for the same ground twice. I don't want to write a mother and tell her son died taking a piece of land that we already had. Plus, it's really hard for the enemy to shoot at you when they're running away. We have a grace period of about 100 days till this law comes into play, however it's going to be. We got 100 days to practice our skill set to be ready for both the listing side and the buyer side. And if you're not ready, then get out of real estate because 100 days is plenty of time for this. This isn't a big deal. But you are going to have new questions, new objections. People are going to wonder what they get for their money. But you need to have a marketing plan. So my email address, as you know, is steve@watsonpowers.com. You want to send me a marketing plan? Anybody on the call, I'll look at it and give you my suggestions. You've got to take stuff off there you don't do, but you better add things they're looking for. Let's go to Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
How's it going?
It's going awesome now that you agreed to talk. Kyle, tell everybody where you're from so they can send you the referrals you deserve.
I'm located in Seattle, Washington.
Beautiful place. So, Kyle, I have a $3.6 million house. It's got a little bit of view of the water. It's considered, quote unquote, a luxury property, yes?
Yes.
What are two things that would be in your marketing plan that would show me that you know how to promote and handle my luxury property?
Two things. Probably better communication, giving more feedback than the last agent, or if you didn't have a last agent, just giving you ample feedback every single week. And then what I would do as well, second part is making sure that that pretty much they get updates whenever there's a showing, or any other activity, and give them a report on what the showing looks like as well, and activity.
So I think those are both great things. There's the biggest complaint about real estate agents, lack of communication. So when you address that with any seller, whether it's normal or luxury, both of those that you gave are outstanding. George, can you take us off mute for a second? You live in beautiful San Francisco.
Yes.
George, if you have a luxury property of $8 million in San Francisco, what are one or two things that you'd have on your marketing plan to prove to them that you have the skill set to handle an $8 million property?
I'd have probably I'd have something in there about who the end, buyer is going to be, like who we're going to market to. So
Like that, what else?
the end user, and then I would probably have something in there regarding using. I'm with Compass, so we have luxury marketing that markets out to China and to international buyers and whatnot. So
You hear that, guys?
market out there.
When you come with Compass, one of the advantages for you, Mr. Seller, is that Compass has a luxury market which your house qualifies. And as such, would it be okay with you if we market to where the big money is? We're going to market your house to China, Taiwan, the Japanese, to Germany, to Israel. Is it okay that we look for a local buyer, but we go worldwide for the people who have money who are bringing it? Would you want that kind of exposure for your luxury home? You see, George, what you just gave me was the one thing that the other agents didn't give me. So now you're moving up, huh?
On it.
So we drive Lincoln Navigators for my wife. And you know why we drive Lincoln Navigators, George?
Why is that?
Because the foot pedals move up and back on their own. My wife is 5'4". every other ARV. She has every other luxury SUV. She's 5'4" and she drives a big Navigator L. Things is so big you can't register in one state. But without the pedals moving up and down, she's got her steering wheel right here. One reason, the seats are nice. But because the pedal moves, we keep buying Navigators. One feature is the reason why we're on our fifth or sixth Navigator in the last 9 years. And they're $80,000 to $100,000 each. Ford has made $700,000 on me because their gosh darn pedals move. Guys, in your marketing plan, you have to have 2 or 3 things that your competition doesn't have that makes you stand out. So let me ask you a question, George.
Sure.
My house is $8 million. You do drone flyovers and drone fly-throughs?
Absolutely. Twilight shootings, daytime shootings.
See? So push that. Mr. Stellar, everyone does aerial photographer. Is it okay with you when you hire us? We have the world's best drone flyer. He will put the drone through your house, turn it. We're going to do a 360. We're going to you're going to promote that drone thing like it's the second coming, George. Because the other guy said, we're going to take pictures, including aerial photography when necessary. Remember, George, I'm at an $8 million house. I got an ego to go with it. I want my house to look pretty.
Yeah.
So guys, whether it's a luxury house or a $300,000 FHA sale, the sellers are going to be looking for, what are you doing to find me a buyer? Kyle hit it perfectly. Great communication. But you also have to have 2 or 3 things on it your competition doesn't.
Mhm.
We have to step up our game, don't we?
Absolutely.
I love this, if you can't tell. Because I'm going to attack this like nobody's business. Because while my competition is in bed going, I'm like, what do I do so I look like I'm Ritz-Carlton in the sea of Courtyard Marriott's? And the difference is only this much. Questions on this, guys, because this is exciting stuff for us. This next 100 days is spring season. Squirrels work all summer for winter. We have to spend all our time trying to make money, but we also have to change some things after hours to adjust for what's coming down the river, because it's coming, and I'm glad it is. I can't stop it. Questions, concerns, issues on today's topic?
Would you use coaching at all? Like the skill set being coached on a regular basis?
Well, if you're promoting Watson Powers coaching, the answer, of course, is yes, but I'm not sure that's what you're saying. But I like where you're going, and I'll manipulate it to my benefit. That's who I do. But I do.
Know,
What do you mean?
I'm professionally coached. So as an agent who's professionally coached, unlike someone you might be interviewing, I have a higher level of skill set that I may.
Yeah, but let's change it. It's got to be, that's about you being coached, and you're using an esoteric example.
Okay.
You have to do cause and effect. Mr. Stellar, is it okay with you that you're about to hire someone who has a professional real estate coach that's connected to the top couple hundred agents in the US that constantly learns the latest techniques every week on how to promote your home? Well, sure. You wouldn't want a doctor to go to med school and then the next time they will go for training is 80 years later, would you? No. So you'd want me to be connected with all these great agents around the US and use their techniques on your home? That's what we'll do for you. So twist a little bit, George, as opposed to I have a coach that enables me to talk to the 50, 70 best agents all US, trade ideas, so we're constantly giving you the latest techniques to find you a buyer.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Back, bridge, benefit, tie down. The fact is I'm coach. The bridge, what that means to you is benefit. Is that what you want? Back, bridge, benefit, tie.
Love it. Thanks.
Questions, concerns, issues? Well, that usually means I covered it really well or it's too intense. So I'm done for the day. My phone number is on the screen. Everybody see it? For those of you too shy, call me after. I always get 2 or 3 calls. I'm here to help you. This is the most exciting thing that ever happened in real estate because it will bear it out the weak people, won't it? Andrea,
You
how many
covered it
agents?
well, Steve. Thank you so much.
Andrea, how many agents do you have at your company?
150.
Nice. Don't be surprised if 15 aren't there in August because they can't handle the change. This will wipe out 10% of the agents. So I trust you to help them stay in the game, but
Mhm.
many people can't stay in the game when they change the rules.
Well, I am in the same boat as you are, and probably everyone else on the call. I do love disruption, and I think it's a great opportunity. And I think
Yep.
I mean, you have two choices of how you can look at it, but I do think it's going to present some really unique opportunities for everybody. If you're willing to take it on, I think it's there. I think it's great.
And really, I appreciate if you're willing to take it on, you don't have a choice. Because when somebody says to me, well, I don't know what to do. Well, let's go through your options. You made $200,000 last year. You're on track to make 240 this year. Besides real estate, what other job offers do you have that pay 240? What are you qualified to do? Well, nothing. Well, do you have a degree in engineering? Are you a licensed physician? No. So if you don't make it in real estate, what do you have to do? When you hit them with that reality, they realize there's no choice. You either adapt or you die. Darwinism said it best. You change or die. Your choice is to change or be broke. You'll lose your house, your cars, your dignity. So, Andrea, please understand a lot of agents come to you and they go, I don't really like this. I wish. It's like, let's put it on the table. Let's get naked under fluorescent lights and stand on the screen. It ain't a pretty picture. You either adapt or you don't have a job because there's no little adapting to this. It's all or nothing, right, guys? I'll leave you with this because it makes me sound smart. Thoreau, the poet who wrote on Walden's Pond, he had a great quote. Sure, the game is rigged. Don't let that stop you from playing. You don't play, you can't win. And we're going to win this, aren't we, guys? And we're going to excel because of it. We have a wonderful event, April 11th, 12th. Go to watsonpowers.com, sign up for the event. It's 2 solid days of how to show houses. We're going to have interactive objection handling. We're going to have listing presentations and pre-quals and how agents around North America talk to a buyer in the house to get them to write a contract, how we negotiate multiple offers on contracts so we speed the whole thing up and make one commission but do it quicker. It's going to be A to Z for 2 solid days of the highest caliber of all parts of real estate. Prospecting, appointments, negotiating. It'll be the best 2 days you ever spent. I think it's $1.99 for Watson Powers clients. Sign up. Let's meet you out there. Bye, guys.